trash.
In a protest, we want our highway back. We want the traffic to stop. We want to stop being betrayed by our supervisor. We want a new supervisor who will listen to us and help us.
You think he lied to you?
He definitely went back on all his campaign promises, and he doesn't include the people who have put him in office. And we're very disappointed.
Who does he represent?
Certainly not the people of District 4.
Jen Doherty. I'm a resident of D4, the Sunset District, and I'm here because our district supervisor betrayed us and does not have his constituents' behalf in his concerns.
And do you think he was dishonest about what he really wanted to do?
Most definitely. When he was running for office, he claimed that he supported the compromise, which not everybody was happy with, but they can live with that more than this. It's an absolute nightmare out here. I live on La Playa in Lincoln, and we have bumper-to-bumper traffic from one end of the block to the other at any given time, and he wants to develop out here with an 8-story affordable housing unit. So once that goes up, here goes the whole coast, even though he's claiming he doesn't want Miami Beach. He's a liar. And people that helped get him supported, or help get him elected, are now in the recall group, helping to get him out.
And why hasn't the city done anything about the traffic problem? I mean,
That's a good question. And even this park, I've never seen so many city agencies come together so fast and so quick to get something done. And we've got potholes and problems galore that they haven't addressed. And we have basically this abandoned road that he's got tech money, Bike Coalition, and
the billionaires. Where does the mayor stand, Mayor Lurie?
He has really been quiet on this, so it'd be very good. I know he was supposedly against Prop K, but he has been very quiet.
So what do you think?
We love it. San Francisco Bicycle Coalition has been in on Ocean Beach Park, now Sunset Dunes, since the very beginning.
How long is that?
Since the campaign launched in the spring, yeah. We love car-free spaces. We think more car-free spaces means a more human-scale, livable city for everyone in San Francisco.
So this is a continuation of the campaign you did at Golden Gate Park?
I'm not sure I would say it was a continuation. I think more car-free spaces means more joy and more sustainable transit and, and more people-centered spaces in the city.
And some of the neighbors here say that the streets are clogged here. They have problem parking. Are you concerned about that?
You know, we want people to get to the beach and get around the entire city using active transportation. San Francisco is a transit-first city and has been for 30-something years, so we really want the city to focus on public transit, biking and rolling and walking as like the primary ways to get around.
They're saying the streets are unsafe now because it's so clogged, people trying to get through when the Great Highway's closed on the weekdays. The city has worked really hard to move, make better connectivity with the lights so that traffic does move faster. And when we make more spaces car-free and inviting, then more people choose to leave their cars at home and travel in other ways. Why are you here today?
Hi, how are you?
What's happening?
Oh, this is how my daily commute is, so I'm just...
You're in the road, stuck in the road.
Doing it on the weekends too, why not?
How long is this going to go on?
Until they open the Great Highway back to the roads, back to the people. Keep the neighborhood safe again.
We want the Great Highway opened. We need to save the Great Highway.
Why are you against the park?
Because it's bringing in too much traffic and it's dividing the neighborhood.
And what do you think of that supervisor?
He betrayed the people. He betrayed us. Yeah, he lied to us.
For who? Why did he betray you?
I'm guessing real estate.
Why are you against the recall?
I support the recall because I feel like it's not representative of what the people wanted down here in this district. The rest of the city voted for it. We didn't. And ultimately, it's just going to end up a dumping ground here for all the tents and whatnot at the park once it's built. You know that they're not going to keep it up as they should. And then you'll see high-rises all the way down here as the big money moves.
I think that's what's behind it, the big money? They want to make condos here?
Ultimately, in the end, I think that's how it'll end up. But initially, you're going to have a dumping ground down here. We like the Sunset District here as it is in the Richmond.
It's a working class district. They want to change it?
Yes, they want to change it completely.
The millionaires.
The vote wasn't for us, it was for the big money people.
Did Joe lie about why he was doing it?
Absolutely, he lied.
This park is for you, and it is for all of us, for generations to come. and forever. Before we dive into today's program, I want to take a moment to give a heartfelt shout out to the incredible team at the San Francisco Recreation and Park Department who made this project possible. From our Capital Division led by Stacy Bradley, our project manager Alex Shuknik, who is out here every day. Thank you, Alex, for shepherding this from blueprint to beauty. For their vision and planning, Brian Stokel and Yael Golan. To Nick Algerson, the park manager who's been out here with his crews day in and day out. Alex Weaver, Brendan O'Keefe, our section supervisors. Ramiro Rodriguez, our custodial supervisor. Carol Siankowski, our park superintendent. Our park rangers, our structural maintenance staff. It took a whole team to work with community, who we're also going to thank aplenty, to pull this off. I also want to thank our partnerships team. Abigail Mayer, our deputy director, thank you for connecting us with the people.
You know, my philosophy is anytime you close road traffic, you create recreational space for people, fantastic. But it doesn't always work with every road. Golden Gate Park, fantastic. Okay, people go there. You need to keep the cars, no problem. But like I said, I've been in San Francisco for 46 years, and I know the history of the Great Highway. I lived on 48th Avenue when they had tunnels under the Great Highway, and we go there all the time. I know a lot of people are upset. I did not really get that involved in making this happen like I did with Golden Gate Park, but you know, my sentiment is the same. It's just that the Sunset is its district, and the people in the Sunset should be voting on what they want to happen in the Sunset. Not the people in Visitation Valley, downtown, all the other districts, because they're not closing off streets where they live. So they ain't got to worry about it. And I think that that part of it is not good, because you want them to pay their taxes, you want them to contribute to all this stuff, you want them to do all this, and yet they feel like they're not listened to, and I can't say that they've been listened to. I love it, but I have reservations only on the rights of the people who live here. Look, you can see the traffic coming off, and they're all going right down here. Look, they're turning right there on 47. That means everybody over there have to absorb the result, and they can work it out maybe.
So they have to absorb the results. So the traffic, it's going to increase traffic.
The traffic, the angst. I mean, we live in really hard times. You know, people live in paycheck to paycheck. I am 69, so that means I'm getting ready to get my Social Security, but it might not even be there. I'm worried about it. And now there's things that don't seem to feel me. You know, they don't feel that I'm angst up and angry, and you know, this is another irritant that could just make me explode. But on the other hand, I love that when streets are closed off, people come and do this. This is what you want people to do.
They say on weekdays it's pretty empty here.
Yeah, it probably is. I mean, there's only like 10 good days to come down. You know that. But you know, the people, they are my friends, allies, and the people in the neighborhood are my friends and neighbors. And I don't have the answer, but I can say that we'll see. You never know. Some of the worst ideas and some of the most complaints come from things that ended up being the greatest thing ever. So you never know. It might end up being an absolutely fantastic result that people can live with. But if I lived on 48th Avenue right now, I might be out here having a good time, but I'd go home going, you know?
Okay, thanks.
Right on.
Hi everybody, I am a journalist for Richmond Review. I'm also covering this event, with my team, and I'm enjoying all the public organizations, meeting the spokespeople of SF Parks and Recs. It's really nice to see everyone here celebrating the opening of Sunset Dunes.
Are you concerned about the residents here? A lot of them are very angry that this has been closed off during the weekday. They feel that their supervisor did not represent them.
I am concerned for the residents that live here. It affects me as well. I live in outer Richmond, and it takes an extra 30 minutes for me to get to work, which requires me to wake up early, change a shift in my schedule. But these things are things I have to adapt to temporarily. Yes.
So you're in favor of this?
I cannot say if I'm in favor. Yes.
They're trying to recall the supervisor. What's your position on that?
Yes, I understand that they're trying to recall the supervisor. I haven't done much research into it, but I am concerned for the future of my work schedule. However, I am able to adapt temporarily to the changes here.
I'm here because I live a few blocks from here, and I was okay with the vote on this thing until I found out that the supervisor never had a town meeting with it, never had meetings with us. And that was what caught me fired up, because I'm a cyclist. By the way, I'm a member of the San Francisco Coalition, and these guys don't represent me anymore. I mean, they are just, I don't know what they are. They're like a cancel culture, woke, like biased, and it's horrible. I mean, so I've been volunteering for 2 months now because of the fact the guy was so dishonest. He didn't do the right process.
Who's backing him?
He's got Scott Weiner. He's got all the developers, the development money, and that stinking mayor is probably worse than him, man.
Reopen Great Highway. We need our highway back. We don't want to walk in these people's streets. We don't want to drive up and down those people's streets.
My name's John. I am here today because I am helping collect signatures to recall the district supervisor, Joe Engardio.
And why is that?
Well, it's a beautiful park, isn't it? It's a glorious park. Love the park. But he really did screw his constituents in District 4. He knew he was going to put this on the ballot last fall, 3 months before he did it. There's records that he met with the people from the Bicycle Coalition and people from the Ocean Beach Park 3 months before, and then the day before he put it on the ballot with the other supervisors. But yet he didn't tell any of us in District 4 he was thinking of it. He didn't put it in his newspaper column that he has every month in the Sunset Beacon. He didn't ask for public comment. He had no public meetings, so he met secret with these organizations that have a particular agenda. He then appealed to the whole city, saying that he was going to be more democratic. So he's really pretty well lied to us and didn't inform us. So a lot of us feel like this is kind of like MAGA Joel, that in many ways he represents Trump and the administration. You don't care about the constituents, you just do what you want. And so that's part of it. The second part of this is, why not wait until next year when there is, he's up for election again? Because this goes above and beyond just not acting correctly. He's new. He's violated some of the basic precepts of democracy in San Francisco, which is inclusion and get yelled at by your people at a public meeting like the other supervisors we've had here. We've had supervisors that have gone to jail and they weren't recalled, right? So now we have 10,000 cars that are now going through our streets. They don't stop at stop signs from Sunset Boulevard all the way down to Lower Great Highway. They blast through stop signs. They speed. Crossing Lincoln Boulevard now is impossible, dodging traffic. So that's the short version of it. And so he said it wouldn't open until this was going to be safe. So there's so many different reasons. I'm not in favor of a recall. I voted against a recall last time. But Joel says he's in favor of recalls because he supported the last ones that were citywide and very expensive. This is a recall for District 4, so a little cheaper. But he's got a lot of money. If he wanted, he could pay.
Where's this money coming from? Because I understand he's getting a lot of money to keep himself in office.
That's the question. He's got a lot of special interest groups and special interest tech groups that are very interested in supporting him. And he's obviously already running for something citywide because he was making speeches to people on the east side about why they should support this park, not on the west side, because, so I hear, I understand why it's a great park. I understand the 2012 study that said we were going to close the southern part. That was great. We've had 10, 15 years to get ready for that. And then there was the study in 2020 about what to do in 2022, what to do with this, and one of the options was to close it entirely, but that was only one option. There were several others. Then there was another District 4 mobility study in 2022 that was supposed to put in safety measures along Kirkham Street and along others. They called them neighborhood ways. Never seen those. So
you're worried that the neighborhood is in danger as a result of the traffic.
Talk to these people here. They've been taught. That's what the conversation is. It's dangerous to walk outside your street. Woman says she's got 33 cars. She can't even get out of her driveway. The promises about making it safe before this opened were a lie, like all the others. And finally, along Sunset Boulevard, we've been working for 20 years to try and get that turned into a park. Go take some photographs up there. It's a mess. It's been a mess. 20 years we've been working on that and never get anything. And suddenly this happens in 8 months. So if it feels a little shady, all you have to do is dig a little deeper. It is shady, and that's why the recall. If he was just supporting this and it was a vote that we didn't like, that's one thing, right? But if it's this shady dealing that King Joel's doing, this is a recall. And
you got a billion,
and a lot of other people.
You got a billionaire mayor.
Yes.
Who's a privatizer.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know anything about the mayor.
You know where he comes from?
Who?
Daniel Lurie. Who he is?
I'm not at all connecting this with Daniel.
I'm just saying, there's a privatization in San Francisco.
If you want to talk about it, that's fine. I don't know. I'm willing to give him a chance, but I don't see the connection between him right now and Joel, although I do notice that every time I've seen Lurie at some kind of public opening, Joel's right next to him. So I can't say anything except that, I think Joel has revealed himself. And this is why people did not vote for him in his old district.
We need to keep this highway open.
And what were the problems you're facing?
I live in the neighborhood, and all it's doing is creating traffic all through the Sunset, and it's actually dangerous. Emergency vehicles are having a hard time getting around.
It took a little heat, a little grit, a lot of pressure. But here we are, like a diamond, Sunset Dunes. And like any great transformation, it didn't come easy. Change is hard. But San Francisco has a proud history of turning controversial ideas into cherished places. Golden Gate Park, Patricia's Green, the Embarcadero, the Ferry Building, Crissy Field. Today we wouldn't trade them for the world. But at the time it took courage and imagination and leadership to forge ahead. Which brings me to Supervisor Joe Engardio. Yeah, I'm going to preach a little bit right now. Supervisor Engardio represents the Sunset and our larger city with heart, hard work, and a deep commitment to thoughtful and forward-looking change. There is no dancing around the reality that Supervisor Engardio's support for this park, along with several other supervisors, by the way, has not been universally embraced in his district. But for this Sunset resident, that's what makes Joe Engardio a leader. Steve Jobs once said, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. True success comes not from conforming and following the crowd, but from pushing boundaries, even if it means ruffling some feathers along the way. Next introduction is something I have been thinking about for a long time. Joel. Joel! So, it took a little heat, a little grit, a lot of pressure. But here we are, like a diamond, Sunset Dunes. And like any great transformation, it didn't come easy. Change is hard. But San Francisco has a proud history of turning controversial ideas into cherished places. Golden Gate Park, Patricia's Green, the Embarcadero, the Ferry Building, Crissy Field. Today we wouldn't trade them for the world. But at the time it took courage and imagination and leadership to forge ahead. Which brings me to Supervisor Joe Engardio. Yeah, I'm going to preach a little bit right now. Supervisor Engardio represents the Sunset and our larger city with heart, hard work, and a deep commitment to thoughtful and forward-looking change. There is no dancing around the reality that Supervisor Engardio's support for this park, along with several other supervisors, by the way, has not been universally embraced in his district. But for this Sunset resident, that's what makes Joe Engardio a leader. Steve Jobs once said, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. True success comes not from conforming and following the crowd, but from pushing boundaries, even if it means ruffling some feathers along the way. John Quincy Adams, the 6th President of the United States, said it this way: if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Joe Engardio is a leader. He shows up day after day for the people of this district and for the future of this city. It really, really is my honor to welcome District 4 Supervisor Joe Engardio.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's take a moment to consider the people gathered in 1937 to open the Golden Gate Bridge. Do you think they realized their bridge would become the icon of San Francisco? The big icon back then was the gold rush of 1849, and it had defined the spirit of our city for a century. For the people gathered in 1937, there was no guarantee their bridge would become as famous as the gold rush and define our city for the next century. They just believed the bridge is what San Francisco needed for a brighter future. And against all odds, they made it happen. Bridge builder Joseph Strauss summed it up in his opening day speech. The Golden Gate Bridge stands before you in all its majestic splendor, he said.
celebrating this?
In complete
The event?
refutation
KPOO.
of every
KPOO.
attack
Yeah.
made
Yeah, we are.
upon it.
You think this is a continuation of the effort at
The
Golden Gate Park?
Golden Gate Bridge faced
Have it- open
intense
that up.
opposition. Too costly,
sorry, actually, I
too
don't really want to do an
disruptive,
interview if that's
too
okay.
ugly, people said. That it looked like an upside-down rat trap. Imagine the social media posts if they had next door in 1937. What will our grandkids and great-grandkids think of this new park called Sunset Dunes? Will it become as iconic as the Gold Rush and the Golden Gate Bridge in the century to come? Yes. Yes, it can. Yes, it can, because this space connects people to something bigger than themselves. The power of the ocean, the beauty of the sunset, a space where a child can learn to ride a bike and dream, a space where a senior can roll in a wheelchair and remember, a space for every facet of life to celebrate, mourn, heal, and reflect. This has become a transformational space, attracting thousands of people each day to our coast, where magical things happen. Like the Halloween celebration with 10,000 kids and parents in costume on a Sunday afternoon. Or the 4th of July parade, where parents pulled their kids in decorated wagons led by marching bands. Joyful things are happening in this space, even when not everyone is happy about it. There was intense opposition to this new park. A majority of the residents who live nearby voted against it. Traffic is a major concern, and we must work to address that concern. Better traffic flow and pedestrian safety is something everyone can agree on. So let's work together on that. And as drivers get where they need to go, my hope is that everyone will come to see the benefits of their park. I say their park, because it belongs to everyone. Our precious coast belongs to all San Franciscans, and now it is more accessible than ever. This coastal park is good for the environment. It's good for our local economy. It's good for our minds, bodies, and souls. I believe Sunset Dunes will benefit our sunset neighborhoods for generations to come. While change can be difficult, let's embrace this once-in-a-century opportunity to reimagine this space. We are the lucky ones in this moment who get to create our best San Francisco. And for the people standing at the Golden Gate Bridge in 1937, for us standing at Sunset Dunes today, or when we face anything in life, there is a choice. We can choose to advocate for the future with hope and joy. Let's hear it for joy. Thank you.
That recently in San Francisco, we have a palpable sense of renewed hope. We are once again believing that our city can live up to its promise as a place where all people get to thrive, a place that really embraces its natural beauty and its spirit of innovation, and to me, transforming this extraordinary stretch of coastline to a place that is accessible to all people is what hope looks like in action. The amazing retail, to the restaurants, to the coffee shops. People are going to be able to hop onto Muni, preferred form of transportation, stop at their favorite coffee shop, get a picnic, come here with their families, their friends, and explore this beautiful area. It is really some of the best that the city has to offer. Mayor Lurie was out here earlier this week to celebrate the park opening and really to give thanks to all of the city staff who worked so hard to make today possible. And I also want to just acknowledge how much work went into making today what it is. There was sand to move. There will probably always be sand to move, but there was particularly sand to move in advance of this. There were traffic signals to install. There were permits to sign. There was a ton of planning and organizing to be done. And when our departments come together and work together, we can make incredible things happen, and we can make them happen quickly. So I want to really thank the staff at Recreation and Parks, at Public Works, at the MTA, at the Planning Department, at the PUC.
Why are you here today?
This is what the people of the Sunset have to deal with from Monday to Friday. We got to people in the Sunset have to deal with this. The chain of lakes have to deal with this every day. This is from Monday to Friday, every day on the chain of lakes. This is what you're seeing. We're here because they shut off a major artery going from the north to the south side. This is not a side street. This is a major artery. The Sunset people and the Richmond people have to deal with this every day. So I guess they have to get used to it.
So you're for the recall? You're for the recall?
Oh, man.
What happened? Why are you for recall?
Well, they're closing all this, and it's going to be a havoc in this neighborhood, and everybody that lives here is going to have to deal with traffic in the weekdays. Not on the weekend, but in the weekdays.
Open the Great Highway. Open the Great Highway.